This is a podcast of 98FM's Dublin Talks. Remember, catch the show live Monday to Friday at 10 a.m.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
98FM.
Here's a simple question for you. Is it bad parenting to want a holiday on your own without your kids? When you hear of a couple going off to Spain for a week and leaving the kids at home with the grandparents, do you think to yourself, how bloody selfish? Imagine going away without your kids? Or can you understand why some parents need a break from parenting, need a break from their children? That it's not a bad thing to want a break. We want a break from work, for example. We want a break from our other halves sometimes. We all need a break. Well, a report in today's Daily Mail says that more and more parents are now choosing to holiday without their kids. They are having 2 holidays a year, the obvious family holiday, and then the mummy moon. That's what it's now being called. This is where basically mummy and daddy get away without the kids. Many parents are now opting to take a week in the sun and leaving the kids with family or friends, and more holiday companies are now offering mummy moon packages. The report says that parents sometimes need a break and need some couple time, and that's why these mummy moons are becoming so popular. However, some people aren't impressed and have posted online saying that it is selfish parenting. Selfish parenting for parents to go away on holidays without their children. Now, I recall about a year ago having a conversation with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Dixon here, about this exact conversation. And I recall at the time you saying, oh yeah, it's selfish. It's selfish. You'll have to bring your kids on every holiday you ever go on for the rest of your life. Yeah, which is exactly what you said.
Yeah, I'm reading up about these mummy moons, as they're called. And basically what the deal of them is to give parents a break from the kids. And a break, I suppose, from the noise of kids on the beach and kids screaming. I mean, who wants that?
I don't hear any kids screaming, no.
Well, there's kids there on the beach. So this money moon, and they've basically picked resorts as well where there are no kids. But I hate people that go to resorts where there's no kids, or resorts, hotels that are not child friendly and stuff like that. I find these people deplorable. But anyway, that's another day's work.
Really?
What?
There is nothing nicer than going to a place that has no children. There is nothing nicer than the peace and relaxation of just peace and relaxation.
Yeah, I guess
you can't relax when there's kids screaming.
I guess that's where we differ. Okay, here's what we want to do. We want to do a poll on this and find out how many people. This is a very thorny issue, and it's something. I mean, the article alone sums it up. The article says, "Do you dare to go on holiday without your children?" This is another article, by the way, that parents are now being judged for taking holidays and leaving their children with grandparents. And parents are giving their different views on it. If you have children, says Christina, children's holidays are tedious. You go to the same water parks, the same resorts, you eat the same crummy food. Mm-hmm. You need to get away from your children for at least a week. You can't... She says, I always wanted to visit Venice for a week. You can't bring children to Venice. It's not a place for children. What am I supposed to do? Never visit Venice? Says Christina, who's obviously should have never had children, if that's your attitude, Christina. But let's do a poll on this. I want everybody to take your phone out now and find out how people feel about this. Take out your phone now. The text number is 087 798 9898. 087 798 9898. And it's a simple question. Is it selfish to holiday without your children?
Now, I'm going to predict that the majority of people are going to say no.
You can't predict.
Yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Is it selfish of parents to holiday without their children? That's the question. Simply text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98.
No, we're not talking about a night away in a hotel. We're
talking about a week in Spain.
Yeah, we're not talking about going down to Wexford for a night, because every parent needs a romantic break away without the kid. But we're talking about flying to another country for 3 days or more, be it a mini break in London or be it a week in Spain or whatever the case may be. is it selfish?
Now, what's your view on this?
Oh,
Because
it is. You know my view on it. It is selfish. I think if you have kids...
would you not like to get away from little Dixon?
No, I'd miss him too much, and so would she.
But that's all very healthy to miss him. That's perfectly normal.
But she said herself...
But okay, when we did...
she wouldn't enjoy herself, she said, if she left him at home.
Really?
She wouldn't enjoy the holiday.
That's a real insult to you.
No, it's not.
That your company isn't good enough for her anymore. There was a time before you had a child, she loved being with you, but now your company alone isn't enough.
Yeah, because she likes...
That's a real mummy syndrome. You probably call each other mummy and daddy now,
no, but
do you?
She prefers him to me. That's the problem here. I've taken second place.
There
now.
you go. That's a real sign of a marriage in trouble. That
Sorry,
you probably call yourselves mummy, call each other mummy and daddy.
Don't dare say my marriage is in trouble.
Do you refer to your wife as mummy?
No, I don't. That's
you probably
disgusting.
do. So you're resigned to never going on a holiday without little Dixon.
Yeah, but I'm happy with that because that's...
Okay, but let me give you an example. When we did our thing in the Code Red box,
I remember that. Yes,
where we did 5 days in a row, living in a box in the middle of the city.
Yeah. And he came down to see me. Yeah,
yeah, but you were without him for 5 days. He survived, and you survived.
No, but he came down to visit me several times.
He came down twice.
Yeah, but
I
still got to
2
see
minutes.
him. No, I'm
sure
sorry.
You can see him on FaceTime or Viber. Or...
no, it's not the same thing. No, I'm sorry. When you decide to have children, when you decide to make a family, that is now your life. Okay? And I know a lot of you, and I see it in nightclubs every weekend. You see girls and fellas, for that matter, who have children and they're out partying 3 nights a week. I think that's disgusting as well. I think if you have children... you shouldn't be out partying 3 nights a week. You should actually...
here we go again.
No, you should actually be a parent.
So life ends when you become a parent?
No.
You have no adult life at all anymore?
No.
Your life revolves around kiddie parks and...
No. I had 2 great holidays last summer with my young fella in tow, and they were great holidays. They were different than the holidays we used to have.
Yeah? So those holidays are gone now? Those adult holidays are gone.
Until he gets to the age that he doesn't want a holiday with us anymore. And
Which
then we
is
go
another 16 years away.
But so what? That's the holiday. You don't like children. That's the fact of the matter.
I do like children. I love my children.
We were at a gig. Let me just explain to you. We were at a gig during the week. And I was sitting beside Adrian. And in front of us at the gig, there was a little child at the gig. Remember that?
A rambunctious little child.
Oh, he wasn't.
There
was a child at this gig.
Very annoying. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, in an adult saying a child is bloody annoying me.
But anyway, there was a child in the row in front of us at this gig, and the child was jumping up and down and was really getting into the gig and was enjoying it. And I could see steam coming out of Adrian's ears. He just didn't want the child there.
The child didn't even want to be there. That was the reality.
Child...
He actually didn't. He actually didn't want to be there.
Okay.
Anyway, there's
a huge reaction to this. Text us now, 0877 98 98 98, or you can call us on 6797 981. Is it selfish to holiday without your kids? I have a feeling, as usual, that Dixon's going to be on his own with this. But I'm sorry, that's how I feel.
You're going to be on your own on this because it's a ridiculous opinion that you have. Your opinion is very much in the minority. Most adults who are in a relationship and have children need time on their own.
I agree with you, but that can be a night away. That can be
one night away. You need a proper holiday. So you're now committing publicly that between now and your child being 16... you and your missus aren't ever going to have That's very sad, actually.
You know what? Things might change. We may be doing this topic in a year down the line, and I may be saying, Jesus, I need a holiday without the little brat.
I'm surprised you haven't said it already.
No, I want him on my holidays.
Like I thought, actually.
Why do people have kids? It's like these parents who have kids and then throw them into a creche for 6 hours a day. Don't have kids.
I thought when I saw this story today, I thought maybe Jeremy a year later has changed. I thought you were going to say, I've asked my missus to go on a holiday and she said no. You're saying, no, both of us never want to go on a holiday without little Dixon.
Here's a text message.
Here, listen to me for 1 second.
No, I don't want to listen.
I actually find that a little bit sad. A little bit sad for your relationship. That you don't want to spend a week on your own with your wife, ever, until your child's 18.
You were very lucky, Adrian, in that you were a separated father.
How does that make me lucky?
It was lucky from the point of view that you were able to live the life of a single man and still have kids at the same time. Whereas I'm not a separated man. That's the difference. In other words, when you separated from your wife at the time, you were able to go on your separate holidays.
Yeah.
Without your kids. Because that's the way...
But you can still do that.
I don't want to do it.
It's not like you don't have people who are willing to mind your child, because you do.
I don't want to do it. I had a child for a reason.
To spend the rest of the next day... Your world will fall apart then when your child grows up. You'll have nothing in your life. Yourself and your wife won't even know each other.
Jesus, sorry.
Gary, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Gary?
Morning, lads.
Sorry,
Gary, do you believe it is selfish for parents to go holidaying on their own?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why?
Like, I love taking my kids away on holidays.
And hang on.
It's what I look forward to every year.
Yeah,
Okay, but hang
brilliant.
on.
It's brilliant.
Nobody is saying that this conversation isn't about ever bringing your children on holidays.
Yeah.
I loved my holidays with my kids as well.
But you prefer the ones without them?
No, I didn't say I prefer them. But a holiday without them is a very different holiday.
Look, to be honest with you, lads, I like getting away with my missus as well, but it's not the same. We miss the kids. We can't enjoy the holiday.
You see,
you know what I mean?
you're probably
we feel guilty.
You're probably one of those parents. I remember going away with a couple years ago without the kids, and all they talked about for the whole bloody holiday was the children.
Yeah.
We love our children.
Yeah, Adrian, we
love talking about them.
Gary, I get that, but
Adrian's children were a hindrance when they were younger.
Well,
they were actually a
so
hindrance.
ridiculous.
They were a hindrance.
The fact of the matter is that
I couldn't enjoy a holiday without my kids.
Either could I.
To be very honest with you.
And it's
that's
the kind,
just been honest.
Gary,
it's the
can
kind
you
of way
say-
until you have the kids, you don't. Because before I had kids, I didn't know what I was missing, so the holidays were great and all. But now you have kids, it's a different dimension, and the thoughts are going through.
Adrian, I went away there last year with my missus, and we were going to Las Vegas. And I said on the plane, honest to God, I was sitting on the plane. It was an early flight out of Dublin, and I felt guilty.
You see,
No
I have to be honest,
joke.
Gary. I find that a little bit sad. That why would you feel guilty for having
my
me
kids were
time?
getting up to go to school, and I was getting on a flight to Las Vegas.
And so what?
I don't know. I like bringing them away. I love bringing them away. It's what I look forward to every year.
But Gary, that doesn't have to change. But I think it's a little bit sad when a couple are saying, and Jeremy is saying it publicly, that I will never go away without my son until he's a grown man.
I'm not saying never, because I don't want this in 2 years' line to this come back and bite me on the
I
arse.
play the tape of it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say never. But at the moment, the only holidays I want are with my young fella. I have to go.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I'm very attached to my children. I love them, and I love bringing them away.
This conversation isn't about loving your children or not.
Well,
okay.
it is.
Hang on, let me read this message.
Term is very long.
Hang on,
very long.
Let me read this message. As long as you give your kids a holiday that year, then there's nothing wrong with going away on your own.
But think of what you're doing. When you book a holiday without your kids, you want to get away from them.
Yes.
That's not a parent.
What is wrong with wanting to be...
What's wrong with wanting to get away from your kids?
Yes.
It's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with going away by yourself. I just feel
can I just tell you that the sort of couples that say things
By the way,
like...
sorry, can I stop you just there, Adrian?
Yep.
I will not allow you to dictate to listeners and to me on how to have a successful marriage because you have a failed one. So I won't be. You said a few minutes ago.
Maybe.
No.
Hang on. Maybe one of the reasons that it was a failed marriage, I'm not saying it is because we always went away with the kids.
No, failed because
we never went away on our own.
No, failed because you're a dickhead. That's why your marriage failed. No, that's the truth. But I will not be. No, I will not
You're
be.
A prick.
I will not be preached to by you on how to make my marriage survive when your marriage fails.
Hang on for 1 second. The fact of the matter is that there is something wrong with a couple's relationship when you can't. You're saying...
Jeez, look, Adrian's out of breath. He's so angry. You're actually out of breath.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I am. I'm really angry because you're just being a complete tosser about this. I find it sad for you and for your wife.
We've a very happy time on holidays.
That's grand. Your child's only 2. Wait for another 10 or 12 years when you still haven't been away on your own together. You are the sort of couple, and I can't stand couples like this either, who end up calling each other mammy and daddy. Because that's what you are. That's your entire life is mammy and daddy.
You're actually
sad. How sad. Tammy, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Tammy, don't mention your kids to Adrian, by the way. He doesn't care, doesn't want to know. It bores him. It bores him.
Tammy, do you agree with me that there are some parents that just never shut up about their children?
No, I think it's not selfish at all to go for holidays without your kids. You need a break and you deserve some free time. So it's totally fine.
And you are sending your son to his grandparents for holidays and you're going away yourself with friends?
Oh, yes.
Now, that's convenient.
We just came back from Bali 2 weeks ago. Me and my son went to Bali. We had amazing time. He had great time. But now it's time for me to go on my own with my friends.
And have a honeymoon.
Why'd you have
a honeymoon?
Why'd you have kids? Why'd you have kids, if you don't mind me asking?
I have kids because I wanted kids and I love him.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean that I cannot go on for holidays on my own.
Yeah, you had a child because you want them when it suits you. You're lucky.
That's a disgusting thing to
you're
say.
what's-
That's a horrible thing
No,
to say.
you're what-
She's just after telling you of the holiday she's just been with her son.
You're what's
He
called...
just came back from awesome holidays. Some people dream about
Yes.
all their lives. I gave him the best holidays he can ask for. And now I don't see nothing wrong.
Yes.
I don't see nothing wrong.
For her own
course you
sanity,
don't.
she wants a bit of time on her own as well.
Yeah, you justify that in your own head. You are what I call, and I put Adrian in this category as well, an a la carte parent. You pick and choose.
Tammy, I apologise for him saying such a disgusting thing. That's a horrible thing to
it's
say.
not a horrible thing.
She's just had a wonderful holiday with her child.
But now
an
she
amazing
doesn't-
holiday.
But now she wants one without him.
She wants an adult's holiday.
Yeah, and I don't see nothing
What is wrong
with
with having an adult's holiday?
Tammy,
He's going to be with his grandparents that love him and take care of him.
Can I tell you, here's another thing that we haven't discussed, yeah? I can remember as a kid when my parents would go on a holiday without us,
Yeah.
yeah? We loved staying with other people.
Exactly, that's
like my
something
granny.
that's,
It was a big treat.
I think deep down, and I know from a friend of mine that this happened to kids, will make you feel guilty when you get back. They don't like
No,
parents.
if you left them. If you let them.
He will have amazing time with his grandparents as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
if that helps you lie on the beach without your kids and makes you feel better, then go
He'll
ahead.
be in the swimming pool as well. Don't worry about it.
Can I tell you something, Tammy? I would put a €100 note on the table right now that Jeremy will have a holiday without his child in the next 4 years, I'm going to say.
You don't have a €100 note.
Maybe even two.
Yeah, but I will. You're saying never say never. I promise you will want a holiday.
You know what? And if that happens, Tammy, I'll put my hands up. I'll say I was an asshole, and I'll admit that I was wrong. But at the moment,
because your child's only 2, you've only had him 2 years. Wait for 7 years and see how you feel.
Wait
about
another year.
Yeah.
Wait another year.
And see if you want to get away from him for a couple of days.
It's healthy for parents and it's healthy for a child. I left my son before with his grandparents, and when I came back, he missed me so much as well. Like we enjoyed our time.
Yes, and that's a very healthy thing as well.
Yes,
Exactly. You need time. You need time off so you can miss somebody
Yes,
and you
it is
appreciate the person more.
It's a very healthy thing to miss somebody.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Tammy.
maybe I'm just.
You are alone here, by the way. You are alone. 79% of our listeners said no, it is not selfish for parents to go away on their own.
Well, that means 1/5 agree with me.
Yeah, okay. John. How are you, John?
Grand.
John, you're just back from from 3 days in Rome with your wife.
I am, yeah.
No children.
No kids.
Shame on you. You're an outrageous father. That's what that gobshite
Well,
is
I
saying.
said a la carte, father.
Yeah.
See, Jeremy's still a part of it. He doesn't have a clue yet. He's only got a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Wait till he has a couple more kids, and then he'll want to have the break.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but in fairness, John, nobody forced you to have a big family. That annoys me as well. These people who go on about, oh, it's so hard having 4 kids. John, you could have got the snip if you didn't want 4 kids. So, relax there.
Yeah, we wanted the kids, but
Well, then don't moan about them. Don't moan about them if you wanted them.
Hang on.
Nobody's moaning.
You were moaning,
John.
Everybody has to have a bit of time for themselves.
Absolutely. John, tell me, for you and your relationship, how important that time was on your own.
Everybody, without kids, to have a bit of time to walk around, do what they want to do, sit down and have a drink without having to feed kids.
I mean, let's say you were in Rome, yeah? And
Yeah.
you probably did all the sightseeing in Rome, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
I agree. You couldn't do that with a kid.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. That kids don't want to be seeing the Vatican and all
No,
that
of course
stuff.
not. John, I wouldn't put you on the same scale because that was a mini break and it was only 3 days. So I wouldn't judge it too much for 3 days. I think that's slightly different because you were going to a city that you wanted to go to. And I'd probably do that myself, going to 2. I mean, we did earlier on in the year, we did a 1-day break in London, myself and my wife. We didn't bring the young fella because we couldn't cart him around London. It was 1 day, though. We were back that night, and that was grand.
I'm telling you, within a year, or within 2 years, you're going to be going on a holiday, a week.
Not every person is a father like you, Adrian. We're all different kinds of fathers. I'd like to see.
Most people need a break away from kids.
Jeremy doesn't. Jeremy and his wife,
You have to have
their
some
whole
time to
world
yourself.
revolves around the child, and that's it. They are mummy
Like
and daddy,
you-
and that's it.
No, that's not
It's
me.
very sad, actually.
That's
it is
actually
very
not
sad.
me. Do I
Sorry?
even have photographs of my kid beside my computer?
Yeah, on the computer. On the computer, on the desktop of your computer.
So it bothers you that
You change it every month. You are one of those people I'm talking about.
that my whole life has become being a father?
Yep. You couldn't do a thing in the box without the child coming in. The audio you play for us every single day of the week. Daddy, 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 storm's coming. And now there's lovely and cute and all. But nobody cares.
Okay, so I guess I should have been an absent father like you.
No, that's not what I'm
I guess that's the kind of father you want.
No.
Okay, you're right.
I'm a very proud father, but I don't go on about it. Paul, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Paul?
Grand, yeah, fine. But I find Jeremy, you did a 180-degree turn around there.
Yeah.
Because for your conversation, you turned around and said you couldn't go on holidays without your kid. And then suddenly you're after telling that other last man that it was all right for him to go away for 3 days because it was a short break.
Okay,
Paul, I'll tell you what's going on here. That's Jeremy easing his way into having to do a whole.
Lads, would you stop psychoanalyzing me here?
It is. This is him nudging his way towards. Oh, maybe all these people are right. Maybe I actually would like a holiday without me, without my child.
He was totally against it until he found out 79% of the people were going the other direction.
You couldn't be more.
No, lads. What I'm doing is I'm differentiating between a mini break, and I did say that at the start. A mini break is okay, but I'm talking about Anne and Pat, or whatever the case may be, going away for 6 days to Lanzarote and leaving the kids at home.
Okay, let me read a message. It says, everything Jeremy is saying are the words of a great father and husband.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on, this is from Jean and Trim, and this is the bit that I find sad. And see what you think about this.
If I lived in Trim, I'd need a holiday as well, Gene.
My eldest is 15 and my youngest is 6, and I have never been away without them. Now, Gene, I'm sorry, I find that a little bit sad. Do you, Paul?
I find that very strange.
Yeah, I really do.
Myself and my wife have at least 2 weekends away every year.
Yeah.
On our own.
And
a break. It's not the fact that we don't like our kids.
Of course not.
Everybody needs a break from their kids. And the kids need a break from us.
So that's what I was about to say, Paul. And kids need a break from their parents. They need to be around other people.
Oh no, I'm sure in a few years my young fella can't wait to get away from me. Because
I can tell you within a year he will be saying that.
What happens if he joins the likes of the Scouts or something and has to go away for 3 days with the Scouts? What's Jeremy and his wife going to do? They're going to sit there and cry for the whole weekend?
My young fella won't be joining the Scouts.
Why?
That's another day's work. He won't be joining the Scouts.
Well, anyway, Gene, let's not get into that, for God's sake.
Well, no, he won't be.
Gene and Trim, I have to say, I find that a little bit sad that your relationship with your husband is not strong enough that you could go on a holiday on your own. Because you'd end up...
Adrian.
Here's the reality of it. Yep. Actually, Paul, it'd be an awful holiday if he did go away with his wife, because all they would spend the whole holiday talking about is
true.
Little Dixon.
By the way, Paul, I'll just finish up at this point, Paul. I will put Adrian firmly back in his box, okay? He's saying we can't go away without our kids, yeah? Every holiday Adrian goes in, he has to go away with another couple. You can't stand to be away with your missus on your own, Adrian. No, that's actually pathetic.
Hang on, the best holiday I had in the last 10 years was last year.
90% of your holidays are with other couples.
Not always.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Always, no.
You're pathetic.
Joanne, finally, your sister turned her honeymoon into a family holiday.
Yeah.
And what did you think of that?
I thought it was the best idea. 2 weeks, and she has grown up kids as well. Well, at that stage, they went. So the whole
lot of them went. Oh, sorry, we're losing you there, Joanne. Sorry about that.
Why can't you holiday without going away with other couples, Adrian? I find that very strange. That every time you go away on holidays, you're with other couples.
On a 3-week holiday.
That's your honeymoon. That's your honeymoon. I wouldn't expect you to bring another couple on that. But what are you afraid of going away with your missus on your own?
I'm not.
Are you afraid you won't get on?
We always get on.
Because you have other couples there.
Guess what?
You have other couples there.
Our life revolves around more than just our children.
Oh yeah, alcohol.
Daddy, mammy,
booze.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
The voice of the city.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With Adrian Kennedy.
We're live every morning from 10 on 98.